All right. So, Brian, did you get a chance to see Avatar 2?
I have not gotten to see Avatar 2 again. The Way of the Water, my head is current, so I will let you. You can discuss it if you will. If you want to throw out spoilers, go for it. But I've not seen it as of yet
So,
because just got to say this. I prefer my blue people 3 apples high and living in mushrooms.
yes,
Just saying.
right.
Just saying.
Oh man, so a little movie came out called Avatar 2, or actually it's just Avatar: Way of the
It is
Water.
just yes.
And I saw it Wednesday night. I went to an advanced screening at work, and it's good. I only looked at my watch I think one time through the entire 3
I was
hours.
gonna say, how long is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. Um, this is not a spoiler, but I'm just gonna throw this out here for anybody. Avatar: Way of Water is Free Willy on Pandora.
But is there a scene where there's a small avatar child going, yeah? Is that a thing? Please tell me that's
No,
a thing.
no spoilers. I will tell you off
Please tell me
camera.
that's a thing. Please
It's
tell me that's a
pretty darn
thing.
close.
Please tell me
Pretty,
that's a thing. Okay.
it's pretty darn close to that.
Well, and I'm sorry, I was at a really not great age to have a movie aimed at my demographic and naming it Free Willy.
Yeah,
They had no chance. It had
right.
absolutely no chance. Yeah.
All right, here comes that funky music.
Let's hit it.
This is the Fandemic, hosted by my dad, a podcast about catching up and nerding out.
With anyone whose awesomeness levels rival mine.
So level up your awesomeness and welcome to the Fandemic.
And the Fandemic has a quick cameo, but we'll get into that in just a second. So welcome to the Fandemic Quick Con. This is a podcast about talking to different people that I may or may not know. And we're just going to see where the conversation ends up. All in about 30 minutes or less.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes there is something that I want to talk about and reach out, or if there's something that somebody else wants to talk about, we will do that as well. I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and this is my podcast better half,
Brian S. Dennis, with the S stands for We Are Your Podcast Quickie.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, which that might end up being the better name than the QuickCon. All right, so the podcast quickie. Usually we are doing Prevenge of the Nerds right about now.
Yeah.
But I was just not ready.
That's okay. That's all right.
So I want to put a little bit more thought into this, but we do have a couple things we want to say about the DCEU, whatever, James Gunns and the DCU.
I think it's going to call it the Gunverse at this point. Yes.
You know what? I'm for that because maybe you need a gun to shoot. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hey, Leia, do you want to say hi real quick?
There's a funky.
There's a funky cold Medina. Funky cold Medina. Funky cold Medina girl.
I don't know who that is.
One of the one of the most underrated rappers of all time.
Yes. And she has never heard that song. Brian, I am doing it wrong. Girl, I cannot wait for the next trip that you take to go get your sister. We are going to get you versed in all things 90s rap. Actually, 80s, 90s rap.
Maybe not all the things.
Yeah, not all.
just saying.
Yeah. The clean versions of
yes. I was gonna say with Funky Cold Medina, you might wanna, hit a radio edit.
Yeah, we'll do the radio edits for sure.
I think you just said you're old.
Yes, I am old. I'm 30 for 13 years. All right.
You're 43.
All right, say hi bye to Brian, and we gotta get going. We gotta start talking.
Bye.
Habai?
Princess Leia. I like the Habai. That works.
I kind of do that. It's kind of like our own version of Aloha.
Yeah, Habai.
Right? Yeah. All right, Habai. All right.
Habai. Habai.
Ooh, Habai. What's better, Habai or Habai?
I think Habai.
I think I like Habai too. Leia, you need to write that down. Habai. Habai. Yes, we're gonna write that down.
Perfect.
You put it on a post-it so I remember. All right.
Gunverse. Let's hit it.
Yes, we are.
Can I write it over this?
Yes. What are quick cons? Yes, quick cons are myself and a guest hit a topic and just talk about it for a few minutes.
You got
That's it. Quick. Where Brian and I like to do a lot of talking. This time we're just gonna stay kind of simple.
Absolutely.
So Brian, so
Yeah.
what's going on with the James Gunn DCU EU Snyderverse? Can you give me a quick little recap? How about
The
that?
best way of looking at it is this: while you don't tug on Superman's cape, you also don't pee in the Rock's cornflakes, and that's what is occurring. So, for those of us that into this sort of thing, James Gunn has been given the keys to the kingdom of the DCU, which includes not only their cinematic properties but apparently their video games. So I submit that a few things that he either instigated or has absorbed have been things such as we have some movies that are not going to come out, like Wonder Woman 3, the Batgirl movie, which you knew those things. But more importantly, Henry Cavill will not be returning as Superman. And this has been kind of up in the air. However, Henry Cavill actually famously left The Witcher to commit to being in Man of Steel 2 and future projects. And then was summarily, it sounded like this was not his choice, was basically dismissed from the role, including, and this is where we have a spoiler alert scroll, if you have not seen Black Adam, or if you have seen Black Adam, at the end of Black Adam, there's actually a quick scene between Black Adam, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Superman, played by notably Henry Cavill, which teased some type of, whether it was directly Superman versus Black Adam and the Justice League, some Adam exposed to the JSA and Black Adam. And that stuff really, on some level, is kind of retconned, including, this is where I kind of put the pin in this. I'll talk about James Gunn pinning the Rock's cornflakes, where The Rock has famously said that Henry Cavill will always be his Superman. So now there are some issues with are any future Black Adam projects in jeopardy? Be it did underperform actually in the theaters, it's doing better now that it's streaming, or is there just going to be a power play between James Gunn and, of course, when you really want to have irritated namely The Rock, and he did the highest, and honestly the highest paid actor in Hollywood. They just decide, I'm going to go do other things. So all the things are moving around in the DC universe.
Yeah, The Rock unfollowed Black Adam and WB and all that on social medias.
Which is the celebrity way of ghosting you or saying talk to the hand.
Right.
And if
or
you,
you can't see me.
Or nice. Or raising his eyebrow. So
right.
Yeah.
So Brian, do you agree? Because I know so James Gunn's come out and said, Henry Cavill was a Superman for a generation. That's fine. Yep. But my plans for Superman are something different. We're going to take a different part of the Superman.
Go younger. Yeah.
Right. They're going to do a younger Superman, so they can flush out that story there.
Sure.
So do you agree with what James Gunn is doing? Saying, you know what, guys, Wonder Woman 2 didn't work. There's been so much crap with the Flash.
Yep.
I mean, the only good thing that's come out of DC really in the last 2 years was the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and Black Adam.
Yep.
And 2/3 of that is James Gunn.
Absolutely. So I do agree that he needs to put his own stamp on things. I don't agree that I would go necessarily younger. We talked about before with other individuals like Batman and Spider-Man, where even if you are a very casual fan, you just kind of watch cartoons or comedy when you're a kid, those origin stories are well known. They are. Yeah. So how many times can you retell the same story? Also, the movies that have seemed to have been the property for for DC that have tended to be really successful have been the more taken out Shazam, have been the ones that the violence was a little amped up. Well, if you're doing a younger Superman, do you make that more of a teen-oriented movie, which gets you in the Marvel world, which they're running that game pretty tight over there.
Yeah.
Or what do you do with that? I do think, though, you do have to make a direction. We do not want to have a replication of the X-Men franchise under Sony, where there's like 4 versions of every character running around. So you got to go younger or older. Personally, my feelings, and anyone that has not heard me on a podcast, well, Superman is definitely not my
Same.
favorite character. But I think there's much more to be held in Superman going forward than telling Superman's past or focusing on the ancillary folks around Superman. So do we need a Superman centric film, or do we need something following Lois and Jimmy and all those people where Superman is kind of in and out of the life, similar to how Titans has treated Batman? Is that something that might be more useful?
Yeah, so I mean, I actually, after hearing hearing the Rock and everything, I actually agree with James Gunn.
Okay.
I actually 100% like, you know what? I trust James Gunn's storytelling.
I trust his soundtrack pick. I definitely
Right?
trust his soundtrack picks.
Yeah, and you know what? I would rather see something new and take it like whether they come in and they go right towards Crisis on the Infinite Earth or something like
Okay.
that. But because everything else is that they've done hasn't really worked. They've had no direction,
Sure.
and this is the end of the direction. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
was it awesome that we're gonna get Henry Cavill back? Absolutely, because you know what? He makes a freaking amazing Superman.
I mean, he's definitely been the best Superman since R.I.P. Christopher Reeve. Absolutely. I mean, he looks like Superman. I think one of the issues that we have with the Superman character is how does Superman fit into, like I said, DC has an identity crisis. You like that? Which is
You win.
Thank you.
You win.
Is that DC doesn't know who or what it wants to be. DC kind of ran the superhero movie game through a lot of our childhood because there really weren't Marvel movies, and there's been many times it says technology CGI had not gotten to a place to really capture well a lot of those Marvel movies. So you saw a lot of Marvel on Saturday morning cartoons and then things they did with Sony. So now they've had competition for the past, decade plus. And again, you kind of have to decide as who's your target audience. If you're going after, kids through young adults, primarily that's what Marvel has done extremely well. So now you're playing copycat. Or do you up the violence? The problem is if you up the violence is you have two characters who are also your two most popular characters in DC, and Batman and Superman, that while there's violence in both of those, they actually don't tend to go to the ultimate level. Batman famously doesn't use guns and doesn't kill. He's got one rule. Now, we all know that he's kind of by act of omission. Yeah, he's bent that rule a couple of ways. Like, oh no, I just want to extend my hand to save you. Rise I go, leave you on the train. And Superman, who again doesn't kill, but is frying people with heat vision left and right. So you don't want Batman as a Punisher, and you don't want Superman who just seems to willy-nilly, laser beam people. So where does Superman fall in this? James Gunn's, my close on this is, again, James Gunn has built a lot of trust. You look at the Guardians of the Galaxies Volume 1 and 2, excellent. We both love Peacemaker. You like the Suicide Squad a little bit better than I did, but again, you can't sell Peacemaker short.
Right.
If you want to hear our love of Peacemaker, listen to the Prevenge show. We love us some Peacemaker. Okay. And we both have the soundtrack on our phones.
Yes.
But this is a big deal, taking over the entire universe. And also, what does that leave, like the television shows? What does that leave Doom Patrol? What does that leave Titans? I read an article that said the one show that's probably safe is the Harley Quinn animated show on HBO, because he's a huge fan of that, and he's done some cameos on it. So that seems to be the one property in all of DC that is free. And you have Arrowverse is still kind of sitting over there. Like, what do we do with this?
So I mean, Arrowverse is pretty much done. I mean, like, Stargirl didn't get past season 3. They ended the series with season 3. I haven't watched season 3 yet. I watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I guess Arrowverse kind of died a few years ago for me. I think honestly the Arrowverse kind of died with Arrow. I mean, Flash is not a good show anymore.
No.
I mean, it's horrible. I mean, Superman and Lois is good. And that's really about the only thing I'm watching, but Superman and Lois takes place on a different Earth. So it's not really part of it. I mean,
and again, they really have instituted a multiverse without instituting a multiverse. DC purposely goes, we have a multiverse, and brought in over time where they can have, all the different planets and dimensions and all this. DC just rolled out, including with their animated movies. You can find the bulk of them on HBO.
Mhm.
That even those don't take place in a consistent continuity. So the best part is in some series, Superman and Wonder Woman together. Others is Wonder Woman and Batman, and other ones, you've got all the Flashpoint stuff.
Yeah.
There's been no general direction, and that makes it tough. The last thing on this, or the next thing on this, is this shows the difference between the two companies in Marvel and DC.
Mhm.
So DC has always had, at least from name recognition, the really heavy hitters. They're triple threat: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And then after that, you've got Flash and Aquaman.
Green
Most of us
Lantern.
know that as in Green Lantern. Most of us know the crux of what we consider the Justice League.
Mhm.
And then you go a little deep. You got Martian Manhunter, Plastic Man.
Green
A
Arrow.
lot of
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow. Then you got maybe from Batman, you've got
Yeah.
the Batman family,
Mhm.
Nightwing. I'm trying to give you love here, sir. But when you look at who most people know from the DC universe and have some idea of it,
Mhm.
it's really Justice League, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
When you go to Marvel, even before the new movies came out, again, we go before a decade, before Tony Stark, before Robert Downey Jr. told us eating a cheeseburger that he is Iron Man. Before all that happened, people still knew Superman, Spider-Man,
Mhm.
Hulk, Captain America, Iron Man.
Punisher.
Yes, they knew a lot of these
Yeah.
characters, even if they didn't know them in the weeds. They
Mhm.
knew of them. DC's always been able to lean on those big three, and really Justice League as a property. Now they're almost having to educate, and instead of doing what Marvel did, leaning on some of those lesser characters. Again, they sound like big names now, but if you look at it in perspective, Ant-Man definitely was not a major
Yeah.
character. Neither was
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy were really kind of ancillary. They're the odd ducks.
Mhm.
Doctor Strange, unless there's a thing that really needs magic, and they call it Doc. Even Iron Man, Hulk.
Yeah.
A lot of those. Again, for forever it was Spider-Man, X-Men, Spider-Man, and X-Men.
Mhm.
So they built those characters up. DC seems unwilling to really do that.
Yeah.
They've got, again, Momoa's Aquaman was well received. Shazam, well received. First Wonder Woman, really well done.
Mhm.
1984, just better, less. I had acne in 84 too, so we can let's leave 84 alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even Black Adam, which I like The Rock in Black Adam. I really loved Hawkman and Black Adam.
Mhm.
I like the JSA. I really
And Dr.
did.
Fate.
Yeah, I was getting ready to go. Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
I didn't like the end of Dr. Fate. Again, spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Yeah.
The only part of the JSA I didn't like was Cyclone. Again, that seems right for a spinoff series.
Yeah. Cyclone was great, but Atom Smasher served no purpose in that movie. None.
Atom Smasher, and also Atom Smasher looked like a knockoff Ant-Man. Even though
Yeah.
he grew, instead of getting smaller,
Mhm.
they didn't actually. The suit was reminiscent of the one that Paul Rudd wears. There's a lot of this go. Okay, so he's
Yeah.
like big Ant-Man,
Yeah.
and just was a character that I also never understood. When you got a guy whose powers are size manipulation, primarily getting bigger, his name is Atom Smasher. Like
Mhm.
this supposed to be a guy that goes boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, especially with like this current status of DC, is because you have JSA, but you didn't have JSA in the Justice League.
Yep,
You had all these things that have apparently been going on for years and years and years and years.
And they don't show the connection between the two. Like,
Right,
why does
exactly.
the JSA and the JLA, and what things go to the JLA versus the JSA. Instead of them talking about,
Yeah.
we were the forerunners of these folks. They could have brought in, again, the cinematic version of, wow, okay, hey, I taught the Bat. I taught all these great people how to fight. I would have loved to have seen and again, you never know if they run sequels or
Mhm.
get series out of this. I again would love a cinematic version of Mr. Trick. I've told you that multiple times. Give us good old fashioned Alan Scott wearing the eye patch, weakness
Yeah.
of wood, and representing LGBTQ. Again, there's some inclusivity. There's lots of things they could do.
Yeah.
And gosh darn it, for nothing else, this is my shout out to you, my friend. Just give us Nathan Fillion with the ring.
Right. You know what? Yeah, exactly. And you have
James
the
Gunn,
characters.
if you're listening, and we know,
We know
you
you
are,
are.
just give us Nathan Fillion with the damn ring. Everything
Right.
else you can do what you want. Give us Nathan Fillion with the ring and a rock ass kick-ass soundtrack, we will be fine.
Mhm.
We will be fine, and the rest of us can, we can figure it out from there.
So I just hope that James Gunn, in whatever the next DC project is going to be, whether it's Superman or whatever, he has a song, and the song somewhere in the movie is for those about to rock. I hope so. I want it, man. Because you know what, like I'm for it. You know what, James Gunn has my trust, and I
Sure.
know there's so much hate out there for him right now. You're not going to get that from me. I'm excited for your DCU.
But let's remember, his best stuff has been when he's able to integrate comedy and action. As much as I really, again, love the two, now going to the third installment of Guardians, really enjoy Peacemaker, and those integrate a lot of comedy, a lot of action, a lot of heart. How does that fit with some of those other characters? Like Superman historically, other than Christopher Reeve has had great comedic timing, he can do stuff with a look. That's not something that Superman lends itself to. It's not something Momoa did it very well in Aquaman, but that doesn't necessarily lend to a lot of their very stoic, and honestly, again, you have the canon material that you have. Honestly, somewhat other than Batman and Green Arrow and a couple of the others, somewhat one-dimensional characters. So how do you bring in those things? So it'll be very interesting. But you're right. He's got the keys to the kingdom. He's gonna run with it. I would suggest again, James, because I know you're listening, do your best to make up with The Rock. There's a lot of potential with Black Adam. We've got to have somewhere where Black Adam and Shazam, run into each other. You just can't have those two in the same universe. At least I think they're in the same universe, and not have them interact. There's got to be that moment where we see Billy Batson and Teth Adam in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. So, no, with all that being said, what do you hope is going to be the next product? Because I'm pretty sure we're going to get a new Batman.
Yeah, we will get a new.
Because I know Robert Pattinson, he's got his own thing going on. The Batman universe is not going anywhere. The Joker universe is not going anywhere.
Which I hope we get a Penguin movie. There's been rumors we'll get a Penguin. So
it's filming right now.
Okay,
so
beautiful. Beautiful.
But with all of that being said, we're gonna get a new Batman.
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you hope is the next in line for the DCU? So like, what projects are you wanting to see out of it?
What I personally would really like to see would be because they've already done some of the bigger, and that's the whole thing. They've kind of burned through so many other things that should be there. What I want to see, honestly, is I want to see them take a stance similar to, and again, it's not going to tell them to copy the MCU. I want them to develop Darkseid. That's what I want. I would love, I know what it is. I want a Mr. Miracle movie. That's what I want. I want you to take me to Apocalypse, take me to New Genesis, and give me
scot-free
as Mr. Miracle. That's what okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's what I want. You know what I want? I want Dennis Haysbert as Apocalypse.
Oh, yes.
I want Helen Mirren as Granny Goodness.
Yes.
Okay. You know what I want? I want we can't use him, he's probably on the contract with them. I want either Ryan Philippe or Sean Ashmore as Mr. Miracle.
Ryan Philippe would be fantastic.
Yes.
Okay. What about Big Bertha?
I've gone back and forth. Now, here's who I want. I know it would happen because of cancer culture, but I want Gina Carano as Big Bertha, as Big Barda. That's who I want. She absolutely fits. Her comments, especially, got her kicked off Mandalorian. So they could probably get her cheap, truthfully, if she wants to do more act. I thought she was good at Mandalorian. I would absolutely think that was someone that could absolutely pull it off. I think also, if I rack my brain up with some other folks that can really pull it off. You know, you can do CGI for things.
Yeah.
People can go to physical training, but I want someone that can actually, you know, please don't let it be Ronda Rousey. No,
I agree.
no.
I agree.
No. But that's what I want. That's what I want, and I think that's what they should do. And again, last thing, James, write this down, sir. So pause. No, nothing new Justice League. I know you got things in the can, things you're filming. Nothing Justice League, okay? Because here's how you establish yourself in a little bit of time we've got left. Here's how you make yourself separate from the MCU, and here's how you get people interested. You stop being hero centric. Okay, we know the heroes. We know the heroes. You know what? People flocked to Joker.
Yep.
Because we didn't know Joker's story. Okay. Give us a new God's new God's movie. Okay. Give us a movie where again it's about apocalypse and New Genesis. You give us Darkseid. You give us High Father. You give all those characters heard me and Brad mentioned, and you give us that. And then at the end of this, you have scot-free hit Earth and encounter the Justice League. And that's where you reintroduce your Superman. Okay, so you get scot-free on Earth a la Hulk landing in the Sanctum Sanctorum in Infinity War. And out of the sky, you see the red boots, you see the cape, you see him blocking out the sun so you can't see his face. And you either show us who the new Superman is there, or you just hear him say, "Welcome to Earth," and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, man, I love that. If it was me, I would do this in 3 different parts, right?
Okay.
So I would do New Genesis.
Yep.
I would do Oa and tell the Green Lanterns, and then I would do Earth as well. So you could tell, and then work them together to do the total Doomsday, and bring in.
Well, you know, you've got Christ on Infinite Earth. You could do something like call it like Worlds Collide. So again, you start talking about, I mean, you've got Oa and the Guardians, you've got Rand. Okay, you go Thanagar. So you've already introduced Hawkman. So then there's Hawkgirl. You know, I mean, there's so many things you could do there to again introduce those other people, because again we know Wonder Woman has the lasso of truth. We know Aquaman talks to the fishes. We know Batman is the hero, not the hero that we need, but the hero that we deserve. And we know all the things, right? Yep. So if you're going to have those again, we're talking DC centric stuff, not what again with the Snyderverse, but not the Matt Reeves version, all that sort of thing. Yep. But this is going to be your core folks. Give us the groups around them. And then you pull it together, because you need a reason for there to be a Justice League. Yeah. You really do. You really do. And, you know, you already kind of primed the pump with Steppenwolf that, hey, there's this thing. So since we know at some point, because Apocalypse was supposed to be this universe's Thanos, give us, again, and if you don't know Dennis Haysbert, look for an insurance commercial. That big, I love that casting. Yeah. That big gravitas voice. Give us him. Let us go like, this is the guy we got to stop. Give us scot-free. Tell us a story that we really, even those of us that read comics don't know a lot about Mr. Miracle's background. Give us that. Then take us to the JLA. Then take us to Earth. But yeah, take us around the universe. Show us how big the cosmos is. Then we bring it to Earth. And that's how you win fans. That's how you build interest. That's how you have that slow build, which again is what Marvel did. They gave us what? 3-4 years of moves before the Avengers, and we were ready for it. This is the same thing. Give us years and 5 or 6 projects, then you give us the Justice League again, and that gives you time to reboot anything that you want to do at that point.
I love it. I love it. So let's go ahead and put a pin in it.
Let's pin this bad boy.
All right. Now, so
1,
if you want to
2, 3. All right. Sorry.
No, you're good. If you want to support the show, there's several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/the Fandemic, and Brian and I will toast you on the next episode of Revenge of the Nerds. You can go to Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. Become an episode assistant, episode producer, Prevenge producer like Stacy, or become part of the con. Yes, you could be part of the Council of Nerds starting at $5 a month. You can also become a monthly supporter on anchor.fm/PVOTN, or just share the show with someone you want to make a little more awesome. You can also buy my kid books. 1, Leveling Up My Awesome, and 2, Stuffed Animal Night Force versus the Dream Invaders. Yes, it is on Amazon right now.
How is this not a
$9.99.
toy line? How is this not a toy line?
Right? Exactly. It's so awesome. All
Dude,
right.
I can hear the theme music right now. Just all power jams, man. It's
Right?
a thing.
Yeah, almost like Europe Final Countdown.
Dude, totally.
I'm in, I'm
Absolutely.
in. Awesome. So, Brian, I think we are at max levels of awesome.
We buried a needle, my friend.
That's right. I like to end the episode on a positive note. Brian,
Yes, sir.
what do you got for me today?
Just remember, I'm out.
Brian's out. Goonies never say die.
Yes, sir. I was ready to go to that. I was trying to think of something inspirational. What I can say is, again, thank you for leveling up. You're awesome with us. And as always, never give up, never surrender. And Goonies, never say die.
Now, remember, lawyers hope you get sued. Doctors hope you get sick. Cops hope you're a criminal. Mechanics hope you have car trouble. But only a thief wishes you prosperity. Have a wonderful night.
Nice.